Hello, welcome back to my channel, or if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Darian, and so today I thought I would bring you a video of testing some new makeup. I have a whole little bin here, so if you want to see some new makeup, just keep on watching. Not all of this is new to the market, but it is new to me. A lot of it has been out for a little bit. First I'm going to go in with the Flower Beauty Hydrating Primer. This one does feel nice, not overly hydrating, but that actually might be a good thing since I do have kind of more of an oily T-zone. Okay, so I have 3 different foundations that I can go in with today, so I'm not sure which one I'm going to use. I have the Flower Beauty Light Illusion, and this is what it looks like swatched. It does look like it's going to be maybe a little bit too dark and probably way too yellow for my skin. That's why I haven't tried this foundation out yet. I was pretty sure it was going to be too dark for me. Next I have the Physicians Formula The Healthy Foundation. That's what the Physicians Formula one looks like swatched next to the Flower Beauty. It's definitely a lot lighter and a lot more neutral. And then the last one I have is the Wet n Wild Mega Cushion Foundation in the shade Light Ivory. And that's what it looks like swatched next to the Physicians Formula and the Flower Beauty. So this is the Wet n Wild, this is the Flower Beauty, and this is the Physicians Formula. The Flower Beauty is pretty much for sure not going to match me. I do have a white mix-in medium by LA Girl that I'll sometimes mix in with a foundation that's too dark. But I think for today I'm going to go in with the Wet n Wild one since I think that one's going to match me the best anyway. I'm going to go in with my Flower Beauty sponge, and I'm just going to kind of dab it straight in to the cushion and then go directly onto my face. On the package it says it's supposed to be luminous, lightweight, and buildable. It's definitely very glowy. I would say it's pretty solid, it's high light coverage. I wouldn't say this is medium coverage at all. You can still see a lot of my rosacea and redness through this foundation, but it does look very natural. It just really looks like skin, which I do like that. Next, I'm going to go in with the Catrice Liquid Camouflage Concealer in the shade Light Natural. This is not a first impression. I have used this before. It's a pretty good, affordable drugstore concealer, but their shade range, like Catrice's shade range in general, is always really horrendous. They pretty much have 3 shades in everything, and they're all on the light to medium. Not even really medium, they're like fair to light category. This concealer is pretty medium coverage. It's not very high coverage, so if you're wanting something to really cover up darkness, this may not be the right one for you. I'm going to add on a second layer just right in the inner corners where I get the most darkness. I'm also going to let this sit for a little bit. If you have a concealer that is not as high coverage as what you want, you can kind of let it sit on your face and dry for a couple minutes and then blend it out, and you'll get a little bit more coverage from this same concealer that way. I would say overall my base is looking pretty natural. If you're wanting something that looks like skin, this combination of products is definitely doing that. It doesn't look very heavy, it looks really natural, very skin-like. It is pretty glowy, so if you have oily skin, this foundation is probably not going to work for you. But I like how it looks so far. I'm going to blend out any creases under my eyes, and then I'm going to go in with the RCMA No Color Powder under my eyes. I'm going to set the rest of my face with the Flower Beauty Miracle Matte Universal Finishing Powder and an EcoTools brush. This is just their powder brush. gonna do my eyebrows really quick off camera. Brows are done. Next, I'm gonna finish up the face. I'm gonna go in with the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. This is not a new product to me. Obviously, I've hit pan on it. I use this pretty much every time I need a drugstore bronzer. It's a great affordable option. The only thing about it that bothers me is the smell. I'm pretty sure I'm going to be the only person that thinks that, but I'm really sensitive to smell, and this has a very strong coconut scent. Next, I'm going to go in with highlight. I'm going to use the Pixi by Petra Glowy Glossamer Duo in the shade Subtle Sunrise. Those are the shades. They are gorgeous. The more pinky shade I think is going to be too dark for me, but I'm going to go in with this lighter champagne shade on this side. I'm going to use the Morphe M510 brush. Next, I'm going to go in with the Color Icon blush from Wet n Wild in the shade Pearlescent Pink. I'm going to go in with the Luxie tapered highlighter brush. I don't like this for highlighter, but I do like it for applying blush. It's a little too big for highlight for my preference, but it's a really nice size for applying like bronzer or blush if you want a more concentrated application. I'm also pressing when I'm blending this so that I don't move around the foundation underneath, because this brush is more densely packed than my highlight or my bronzer brush. I think today I might go in with the Warrior palette because my skin is really natural looking, so I think if I do kind of a natural neutral makeup look. First, I'm going to go in with this shade right here called Kano from the Warrior palette. This is the only transition shade they really have in the palette. And I'm just going in with a Morphe M411 brush. It's just like a fluffy blender brush. And I'm taking that into my crease. Just getting that to where it's even and blend it out. I'm taking that same shade Kano under my eyes with a smaller blending brush. This is the Morphe M507, and so it's just a tiny blender brush, you can see in comparison to that one I was just using. I'm just going to blend that out under my eye. Next, I'm going to go in with a Morphe M433 brush. It's just a little blender brush, but the bevel is pinched right here, so it's a little bit more tapered. You can see in comparison to the M411, it's just a little less fluffy, and then the side of it is a lot more tight. With that brush, I'm going to go into Mino. Up here, it's just a really deep kind of chocolate brown. And since we already have our base done, I'm going to make sure and dust off a lot of the excess. And then I'm going to press it onto the outer corner of my eye. And then when there's less product on my brush, then I'll take and actually blend it out. Next, I think I'm going to go in with the shade Amina. This one right here. It's just kind of a bronzy, kind of taupey color. I'm going to place that on my eyelid. Okay, now that I have that color down, I'm going to go back in with that same blending brush and the shade Kano, and I'm just going to add a tiny bit of that to the brush, and then just blend the edges of where those two shades meet in my crease. Lastly, I'm going to go in with just a small smudger brush and that deep chocolate shade. And I'm going to put this really close to my lash line on underneath my eye, just to add a little bit more dimension to my lower lash line. I'm really only taking about 3/4 of the way in. I'm gonna add the Colorpop eyeliner in the shade Honey Dude. It's just a nude eyeliner on the lower waterline. It's just going to brighten up the eyes a little bit, make them look a little bit more open. Lastly, I'm going to go in with the shade Morimi on my inner corner. This is a gorgeous highlight shade. Okay, so that's eyeshadow done. I didn't do anything crazy, but I like how it turned out. I do like the palette so far. Next, I'm going to go in with the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal setting spray. This is their matte finish setting spray. Oh, it has a super fine mist. Okay, to finish off the eyes, I'm going to add mascara and lashes off of camera. I'm going to be using the Worth the Hype mascara from NYX and the Ardell Wispies. Lashes are on. I also lined my lips with the Colorpop Lippie pencil in the shade Skimpy. So lastly, I'm trying to decide what lip color to go in with. This is the Milani color in Naturally Chic. I think I'm going to go in with this one, the Milani one. So that's the lip on. I do think this is a really pretty color. So the new things I tested out today were the Wet n Wild Cushion Foundation. I do like this. It's a very, very natural foundation. It's not going to give you much coverage, so if you're wanting something that has a pretty medium to high coverage, that's not going to be for you. But if you have dry skin and you want something that's a really light coverage, this might be a really good option. I don't know how well it lasts, just because I haven't worn it for a full day, but it looks really nice. So if you're wanting something that will work for dry skin, that will give a very glowy finish, this might be a good option for you. I also tested out this Flower Miracle Matte Powder. I'm not a big fan of pressed powders, and this one, because it's that really white, I'm afraid it's going to give flashback. But it's just a little too matte for me, so I probably won't be reaching for this in the future. The next thing I tested out was the Pixi highlighter. I do think it looks really pretty on the skin. It gives a really nice kind of glowy finish. It's not as blinding as I thought it was going to be based off of the swatch, because when you swatch it, it is crazy pigmented. Even if you just swatch it on your hand, it's like really, really intense. But it didn't really come off that intense on the face, which I don't really mind, but you probably could build this up to make it be a little bit more pigmented and blinding than what I have it today. This Wet n Wild Color Icon Blush, it's okay. It's a little more pink than what I would normally wear. I normally go for peachier blushes. It also has quite a bit of glitter in it, which you can't really see from far away, but when I was putting on like my lashes and getting really close up, you can definitely see the glitter on my face, which I'm not a huge fan of. So I may not reach for this over some of my other blushes, particularly if you're wanting some good drugstore options. Flower Beauty, Milani, they have some great drugstore blush options, so I would probably reach for those over this one. The last thing I tested out was this Milani lipstick. I think it's a gorgeous color. This is something I would wear very often. It does have a little bit of a smell to it. It's kind of, I'm not sure what it smells like, but it's kind of sweet. If it lasts very long, it might bother me just because I'm really sensitive to smell, but overall I really like the color. The formula is nice. It's not too heavy or too matte or anything like that. I prefer more of a hydrating lipstick, so this definitely gives me that. The last thing I tested out was the Flower Beauty Seal the Deal Makeup Setting Spray. I can't really give a very good review on this just because I haven't seen how it actually helps my makeup last or anything like that. Alcohol is the second ingredient in this, so if you have dry skin, this might be a little bit too matte for you. But they also have a dewy finish setting spray. They didn't have it when I was at Walmart, so I wasn't able to pick that one up, but I'll probably pick that up and test that out as well. This is the finished makeup look, so let me know if you liked it. I will update you on how I like things in the description box if my opinion changes or anything like that. Subscribe to my channel, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye guys.